Vowing to unite the country, Joe Biden officially accepts the Democratic Party's presidential nomination, pledging to be a president for all Americans.
The current president has cloaked American darkness for much too long. Too much anger, too much fear, too much division. Here and now, I give you my word. If you entrust me with the presidency, I will draw on the best of us, not the worst. I will be an ally of the light, not the darkness.
The 77-year-old Catholic would be the oldest president ever elected if he defeats President Donald Trump in November. Philip Crowther, international affiliate reporter for the Associated Press, joins us once again from Wilmington, Delaware. Philip, welcome back. Good to see you. So this was an important speech for Joe Biden, whose political career spans decades. What was his message to the American people? And also, how do you think he cast himself as a candidate?
Well, you already mentioned it. It's almost surprising to hear that you have a candidate on stage there saying that despite the divisions in the country right now, that he still believes in the unity of the United States. That was essentially the nominee's main message on stage here in Wilmington in Delaware, that he will be able to unite the country with the kind of bombastic language maybe that we are used to, of course, from a nomination speech with the former vice president saying that he was going to end the season of darkness, and as you just heard from him, he was going to be an ally of the light. Now, what we've heard from the nominee of the Democratic Party has essentially been, throughout the last 4 days of this convention, a clear contrast, of course, between him and the incumbent in the White House. Now, the other thing that was, of course, important about this speech, more than anything because of the unrelenting criticism coming from the White House and the Trump campaign about Biden's fitness for office or not, being 77 years of age, and at the time of the inauguration, if he is elected, he'd be 78 years old. Well, Joe Biden actually did well in his speech. He was firm and clear in his acceptance speech, and that will go a long way because of all of those questions having been asked about Joe Biden's competence for office.
Philip, did we get any insights into any specific policies that he would implement if elected?
Well, there's never really that much time in an acceptance speech at a national convention, but we certainly got a very clear idea from the former vice president as to what his priorities would be from day one. He spoke about 4 crises that are happening in the United States at the same time. Those crises being the coronavirus pandemic, first of all, the economic crisis that has come as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Then add to that racial injustice in the United States. And finally, what you don't hear much from the White House, climate change as one of the biggest priorities for what would be a Joe Biden White House. Now, in terms of concrete policy ideas from the former vice president, I just go into one, the coronavirus response from Joe Biden. He said that he would implement a federal strategy, maybe instead of the state-by-state strategy that we're essentially seeing right now. First of all, he says that he would like to see more rapid testing throughout the country and probably controversially at this time, a national mask mandate. Now, that is not necessarily something that is going to unite the country at these times of division. That is a difficult and dangerous proposal to come from one of the nominees, but Joe Biden has said it before and said it again during his nomination speech. If he was to be elected, wearing a mask would be mandated across the country.
All right, quickly, looking ahead, any idea what the plans are for campaign events for BidenHarris, and do you think they'll be virtual like the convention?
Yes, frankly, it's just going to be more virtual fundraising and more virtual campaign events, essentially long Zoom calls on behalf of the former Vice President Joe Biden and presumably also from the vice presidential nominee Kamala Harris. Now, usually what you would see at this time already right now would be both of the candidates would probably split up at this point and go campaigning non-stop in the crucial swing states. None of that is happening right now, at least on the Democratic side, because they really want to be seen seen as the party that is being cautious and that is listening to local guidelines, while the president, of course, is out there campaigning and is meeting quite a lot of voters in those crucial swing states. So in the absence of all of this campaigning, we do have some dates coming up. We have the first presidential debate at the end of September, and then 3 more debates, including one for the vice presidential candidates in October. Those are dates that you can already put in your calendar.
All right, thank you very much. Philip Crowther, international affiliate reporter for the Associated Press. Thank you again.